Ever since I started doing Hollowforms, I had wanted to make Hollowform Christmas ornaments with finials. However, finials are something that I've never really been comfortable with. So I decided to go ahead and start making some Christmas ornaments this year for the purpose of being able to practice making finials, among other things, as well as hollowing Hollowforms. Okay, to get things started, we're going to start by cutting a 3x3x2 block to use as our blank. And once we have that blank, then what we're going to do is take it over to the drill press and drill a 7/8 inch hole all the way through. Now I'm going to mount my blank to the lathe using my Nova G3 chuck and a set of 20mm jaws. You may notice that I brought up the tailstock. The reason why I'm doing this is so that I can use the 60-degree cone on the tailstock to center up the blank so that I'm turning it along the axis. And then I went ahead and marked about halfway up the blank, and now I'm starting to turn the spherical shape. I'm basically going for a squash sphere. I used a variety of tools, including a bowl gouge and a scraper. I also find that it's easier to sand as you go along, because when you reverse mount it, there's not going to be as much material there to hold the piece in place after it's hollowed. So I figure go ahead and do the bulk of your sanding at this point. Once you got that done, then go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Now, when you're using the EasyWood hollowing tools, right on the bar it marks the positioning that you should have when you're using the tool, as far as the minimum and maximum distance that it's permitted to hang over the tool rest. So you'll notice that the tool rest is pretty far back, and that's just to fall within the lines on the side of the tool. Take your time and hollow it out slowly, and you won't have any problems. Now once you flip it around to do the other side, you have to remember that there's very little material holding it on the lathe, so you want to have a particularly light touch for this final stage of the hollowing process. And you want to stop often, blow the dust out, and check your progress on as far as the wall thickness. And then before you know it, you'll have a nice hollowed out ornament body. Next, chuck up a 1x1 piece of material to use for a finial. I start out by turning it into a round with the roughing gouge. You may notice right here that I've switched from I'll switch back and forth between this finial and a Padauk finial because, well, I had some problems with the battery and I had to switch up. But the process is the same for both. Working on finials is something that I've been really wanting to get around to, and this project has been great because I've turned several finials and I'm starting to get more comfortable with it all the time. It's just another one of those things that just take a little bit of time to get used to. So if you'd like to be able to turn finials, my best advice to you is find a project where you can make a few and then have at it. Now here you can see me sizing the tenon to fit and parting it off. And then I'm going to work on the top here. Now, I managed to lose the footage of me parting this off, so you can imagine it went pretty much the same way that parting off the finial did. That little divot there at the end is for drilling the hole for the hanger. And now we're on to assembly. As you can see, I've switched the globe for the ornament, as the video footage for the other ornament got lost, but whatever. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some thick CA, and instead of putting it on the finial, what I'm actually going to do is put it on the walls of the hole This way, any extra glue will squeeze out towards the inside, and if you turn it upside down, as you can see here, it'll spread around the tenon, which will actually help to increase the bond. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the bottom. And there you have it, folks. A beautiful turned ornament with a finial. I'd like to encourage you all to get out in your shops and give this a try. It's been a lot of fun. It's not nearly as intimidating as it looks. And you may have to practice a few times at finials to really dial it in and get something that you're happy with. If this is your first time on my channel and you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and even hit the little bell so it'll notify you when I upload new content.